All right, class, now that we've gone over our review from the last 3 weeks, we are going to start on week 4 of your preparation for writing the Canadian Citizenship Test. So I'd like you to get your study guides out, Discover Canada, and turn to pages 44, please. Does everybody have their books? Oh, Heather, you can get an extra one if yours, if you forgot to bring yours to class. There's an extra one over there on the bookshelf if you'd like to help yourself to that one. You can borrow that for today. All right, so I've got written over here on the whiteboard, we have the instructions step by step for the assignment, but I want to review them and make sure everybody's clear. Okay, so I'm going to ask that Group A will read pages 44 to 47, and then Group B, you can read 48 to 51. Heather, what we're going to do is we're going to share the reading so that one person has to read the whole, because that's a lot of reading, right? So how about make sure that everybody in your group has a chance to read, and you choose how you share the reading. You can assign a page to each one. Someone can just read all the captions under pictures. You can read alternate paragraphs. I'm going to let you decide amongst yourselves. Just make sure everybody has an opportunity to practice the reading. You'll also notice up here in the upper right-hand corner of the whiteboard are the word lists that we've built over the last 3 weeks, and then I've created week 4 for you. And so you can reference there if you have any problems around meanings or identifying how to pronounce the word. It's all set up there for you. And again, you can ask me. Yes, Paul, when you go into your groups, just your same groups that we've been working in all along. And when we're halfway through, which will be next week, we're going to switch it up so that you work with different group members. But for today, let's just work in our same groups. Okay, so I'm going to get you to do that reading, and at the end, it's going to be a puzzling day today. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with a crossword puzzle. I'm going to assume that you perhaps, if you haven't completed one yourself, that you've seen one in a magazine. No, Fred, I don't have puzzles that you're going to fill in. You're going to create the puzzles from scratch yourself. And you're going to see that just above the instructions for the assignment, there's a URL that will take you to the helper to create the crossword puzzle. So what I want you to do is, after you've read your assignment, I want you to create 12 to 20 clues or questions, as I would call them, that have a one-word response. And that's very important that it's one word, because as you know, even if you haven't filled one out, you'll notice that this line is for one word. You need to make sure the spelling's correct, because some of the words will share a letter. And if you don't have correct spelling for your response, it throws your puzzle off. So I'm going to show you right here. I've pulled up a puzzle that I did with another class, and it was around sports and events and activities that Canadians like to do. And you'll see that they created 15 clues / questions, and you'll see the responses over in this next column. So how the act works is you type in the one question. Hi, Ellen. Yes, that's a good question, Ellen. And what Ellen's asking is, if we fill in the responses, how does it then make it a puzzle? So let me show you how that happens. You're going to type in the question. You're going to type the one-word response. When you push that create button there, you're going to see your puzzle come up. And what will show on page 1, there's 2 pages. One page will show a blank puzzle, and it will show the clues or questions for across and down. But on page 2, if you look at it, I'll just scroll down, you'll see on page 2 is a completed puzzle. So that obviously is not something you pass out at first when you're trying to get people to complete the puzzle. So I'm going to ask that you take the next 30 minutes to do your reading, to complete creating your puzzle. I'm going to walk around the room, and if there's any questions, please ask me, and we'll work it out. So if you take the next 30 minutes, I'm going to put the big stopwatch up there on the wall, and our 30 minutes will click away, and at the end of that, we'll move on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, that was really good work. You managed to get your reading done. I could hear people sharing the reading activity amongst each other, and you were very collaborative when you were creating the clues / questions and responses for the puzzles. So, Mary, could you please project up on the whiteboard, not the answers, but your basic puzzle that your group created for Group A and Group B? How about Paula, if you could put up your group's puzzle? It's interesting that you both groups took the maximum and created 20 clues, which is great. So lots of words will come out of that. And what I'm going to ask you to do next is to take your puzzle with the responses and the questions. I want you to do something that we've been doing in each of the weeks as a summary and reminders and refreshers for what you've learned. I want you to create word clouds. So up above, you'll see the URLs up on the whiteboard. You can choose whichever app you prefer to use. You may have already picked one that's your favorite. Fred, I would rather that you stuck with the URLs that we have. I realize you may have a great one that you've been using, but for today I'm going to ask you that you use one of those 4 that I've posted, and perhaps what you can do is bring that URL to my attention after class, and I'll look it over, and maybe down the road we can incorporate it. But for today, I'm going to ask that you use the ones that I have selected for you. So I want you to take the next 15 minutes as a group, either words from your questions or words from your responses and the content, which is all of which was in what you read today. Create your word clouds, print them off on color poster, and each group I want you to post it on the wall. And when you're done that, then you come back together and we'll go over homework before the end of class. So again, stopwatch is going, and you've got 15 minutes. Go to it. Any questions, please ask. Okay, nice word clouds. I see some words like rocky, and to me, when I see the word rocky, knowing what you were studying, that means Rocky Mountains, and that's really quite a visual if you've ever seen pictures of them. And I see Ottawa, so that reflects on the field trip that we went to, and also from the content from the reading, because that's all about today's reading, that Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So you've done some great works, and what we're going to do is we're going to review that collectively and discuss our content tomorrow. So for now, let's do the homework before the class is over, and I'm going to ask that Group A would pass copies of your test without the answers to Group B, and Group B, you pass your puzzle to Group A. And so what you're going to do for homework is Group A is going to read pages 48 to 51 and complete the puzzle. Group B is going to read pages 44 to 47 and complete Group A's crossword puzzle. Bring them back to class tomorrow. We'll share answers and discuss the word clouds. Any questions, you can ask me at the end of class, as I just hear the bell ringing now. So everyone have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.